Back on TYT Sports, JR Jackson, Ben Mankiewicz on the end, Jason Rubin over on this end. NFL Week 1 is here. Sunday is going to make Sundays whole again. We're very excited for the NFL to be back. You're going to be seeing the three of us regularly on Monday mornings when we do our Turks and Jerks.
Church, family time, and then I hope I'm able to see like the second half of the late game.
Maybe, have you figured out your DVR at this point? We discussed this on your
My
last
wife's
clip.
so dreading the football season. She keeps asking. So it's Sundays, right?
Every year.
Every
year.
Yeah. You know what? This year they're doing it again on Sundays. They're going to mostly be on Sunday. Yeah, it's Sundays. And from about 9:45 until we go to sleep, I'm pretty much out.
All right, so we have our football locks, the lines for Week 1. We're going to kind of pick a few games to narrow in on when it comes to this weekend, just because there's some major headlines and storylines going into it. For one, the Seahawks are continuing to dominate the headlines for reasons outside of football wholly. The Cowboys coming in with rookie quarterback Dak Prescott, which Dallas Cowboys quarterback Troy Aikman is terrified, given the fact that he thinks that, why does everyone think we're going to be fine? We're terrible without Tony Romo. So he seems to be keeping it real at least. The Patriots and the Cardinals is Sunday night, I believe, which makes possibly the most another compelling matchup. Because again, for the first time since 1997, either Tom Brady or Peyton Manning will be starting an NFL football game.
Yeah.
Well, we did see Peyton Manning in the booth in Thursday's game, at least. All right, so let's get to the lines itself so everyone kind of see what's going on this week. Of course, for those, anybody new people coming in for NFL football lines in general, home teams have the @ in front of them in this one. Usually they capitalize them, so I wasn't sure.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that was clear.
Yeah. Ben, you like to kick these off.
Sure.
What's your best bet of the weekend?
Well, there are 3 bets that I like, and I'm stealing directly from a piece I read because I love confirmation bias, but I like it particularly when confirmation bias turns out to be right. Like, my instinct is always that in Week 1, take terrible teams because the public knows they're terrible. The public doesn't want to bet on them, and you have some value there. Doesn't mean they're not going to lose 41-10 and you're not going to lose. You're just looking for where there is a little bit of value. And ESPN Chalk, which bless ESPN, I think it was last year they finally went to they have a whole site dedicated to gambling, right?
Yeah, it's a partnership with, I think, Number Fire and
I don't know,
some other
but
places,
it's good.
yeah.
But it's there, and it's great. And in this piece written by David Solar, he talks about the contrarian betting strategies, what Chris Liss talks about all the time. But when you take teams, there's 3 levels here. You got 3 sets of things. Teams that miss the playoffs, they are 117-99 against the spread. So that's 54%. You're already making a little tiny bit of money at that. Teams that missed the playoffs and their opponent made the playoffs right away, that's 47-29, 62%. And then teams that missed the playoffs, their opponent made the playoffs, and the team we're talking about not only missed the playoffs but had a losing record against the spread. So they're particularly noxious teams for gamblers, right? 34-13 in Week 1 against the spread. So it proves it. Look, man, these teams that you think are bad going against teams that are good, there is value in those numbers. And so 3 of those standards apply to Week 1. One of them probably doesn't seem like it applies. Put those spreads back up there for a sec if we could. One of them, I think the line is actually 2.5. I saw yesterday right now, but is Minnesota and Tennessee. And you don't think of Minnesota as a playoff team, and they lost their quarterback, but we all know the quarterback wasn't why they made the playoffs last year. So guys, put the numbers back up for me.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you. So Minnesota 2.5 at Tennessee to get Tennessee, a terrible team last year. Minnesota made the playoffs. You're in good shape taking Tennessee at plus 2.5. Bradford, Bridgewater, we're all interested to see how that impacts the Vikings. I would say, as much as we like to rip that trade, Sam Bradford's not an incompetent quarterback, and I would say that's an improvement right now over Teddy Bridgewater, although it's slight, and Bridgewater may have gotten beter.
Real quick about the Vikings. I actually think Colin Cowherd made a pretty interesting point because he also talked with Malcolm Gladwell about this. Who's also been pretty appearing a lot on Bill Simmons' show and is a big sports fan, writes occasionally for the New York Times about sports. He was saying the most valued players in NFL drafts really come out of the 3rd and 4th rounds, more so than the 1st and 2nd rounds by a wide margin. And on top of that, to Cowherd's point, the 23rd pick in the draft, roughly. You're talking about, as he mentioned, you're probably getting an offensive lineman from Ole Miss. Again, paraphrasing Cowherd's words. So you're not trading a first and fourth. You're not trading a first-round pick, a future NFL possible amazing star for Sam Bradford. You're trading a lineman and essentially a fourth-round pick, which my favorite part about that pick, it can become a first-round pick, guys. Do you know how?
How?
The Vikings win the Super Bowl, and Sam Bradford plays at least 80% of the snaps.
Is that right?
That's right.
Then it's a first-round pick? Well, then it's worth it for the Vikings.
Well, I mean, I guess we might as well put your theory, or at least your proven strategy to the test. I'm taking the Jaguars over the Packers.
So that's
not over, but on the spread.
So at 5.5, it's already down to 5, 4.5 in some places. So let me talk about that one because that's a great pick. That's another one. I've already made that bet.
140 degrees in Jacksonville.
That's locked in. Same thing. That
And they're
line,
home,
that line opened at 3.5 points when the schedule's out with the rosters set. And the public, there's no sharp money on that. There's no smart guy money on that. That money is the public because it's the Packers, and nobody wants to bet on the Jaguars, have upped it to 5.5. So you're getting 2 free points in that game. Especially at 4, a number that gets hit all the time as a final score. There's huge value in the Jaguars at 5.5. It's Aaron Rodgers against Blake Bortles and the Jaguars. There's every chance that game ends 48-13 Packers. I got it. There's every chance that it's not relevant, but you're looking for value. That's the other one. And then the final one is Miami, 10.5. If you'll put up those numbers again whenever we start talking
against
about
the Seahawks,
it.
yeah.
Miami, 10.5 against the.
See, that's the game where I think it ends more 41-13.
Obviously,
I believe in the Jaguars and why it's the right bet. The Seahawks, I can't get over that one. To me, it's just that, and I know last year they had a slow start, but I don't think. I mean, I don't know how you
think they'll have a slow start again.
I just don't know how anybody, especially of Ryan Tannehill's ability, is going to overcome.
Well, I think a quarterback
who's in that situation.
Ryan Tannehill's got what now? 64 starts under his belt, 80 starts under his belt. I mean, this guy's played in the NFL.
About 58 mediocre starts under his belt, 10 great starts under his belt.
They have weapons and they can run the ball. I think if you can get Washington at more than a field goal.
So you're going all out on those 3 bets. Those are your 3.
Those 3 bets, and I like Washington if you can get Washington at plus 3.5.
I like actually
at home.
And all these, your first one was Titans, right?
First one is Titans, Packers, and Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, and all those underdogs, I believe, are at home, right?
No,
the Seahawks are at home.
Seahawks are on the road.
Actually, Jared,
the Seahawks are at home. They're on. The Dolphins, at least, are on the road.
The Washington Redskins.
Road, yeah.
I'm actually happy you mentioned the Washington Redskins, and I say that because another overlaying point from Thursday's game was the absence, and somebody who I still don't consider the best cornerback in the league, but obviously is extremely talented, is Josh Norman. And I think the Panthers really missed him yesterday in terms of Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas, who are very talented receivers and can blow by any corner in the league. Already, it seemed like that extra presence for the Panthers defense wasn't there. The Redskins picking him up, filling an immediate need in that secondary that they needed against a team like the Steelers, who, again, still without Le'Veon Bell, and I understand they have Antonio Brown. However, Josh Norman can go toe-to-toe with Odell Beckham Jr., he can go toe-to-toe with Antonio Brown. So in Washington, in the first game of the season, I think a lot's going to rely on Kirk Cousins. That's actually one of the bets I really like is the Redskins, even though I think the Steelers will still win by a point or 2. Is it 3.5, Ben?
It was 3.5 at one point. I don't know what.
If it's more than a field goal, I think it's compelling to take the Redskins, just because to me that's a game that screams 24-21, 22.
This is what you do. You gotta save your money. This is what everyone. This is the best. No, scrap all your money together that you're putting for all these parlays and underdogs and losing teams in the first week. Yeah, I've been that. What you do is you put all your money on the Los Angeles Rams because they're back home. They're back home.
And that's the reason.
Not even this week.
Right.
They're back home for the season, so they're going to win everything.
16-0?
We're going all the way.
All the way.
So I did a little Jeff Fisher research, which I thought you'd be interested in. So and I watch hard. Look, I was a former Washington fan, and I retired. As some people who watch the show know, others may not. I'm done with that owner. I'm done with the worst person in sports, Dan Snyder. And I'm done with the team name. If the owner was a good guy, I could live with the team name. You know, I still want it changed, but I wouldn't have quit on my childhood. But Dan Snyder's a loathsome, terrible person. He's bad for America. He's bad for the NFL. He's bad for the Jews. So I was looking for a team for years, and I like Buffalo. You know, I'm trotting Buffalo out. Rex Ryan's endorsement of Donald Trump does not help. But I like Rex. I can't help but like Rex. It's hard to dislike. But the Rams, they were my brother and father's favorite team. They were always my second favorite team, but nobody cared when they moved to St. Louis. People in St. Louis didn't care. And now they're back home. So I'm with the Rams, too. I'm a Los Angeles Ram fan.
Yeah, we got to get you some gear.
So Jeff Fisher's phrase that he gave us during Hard Knocks of that's some 7-9 bullshit, I'm going to use throughout my life whenever little things go wrong. Come on, baby. That's some 7-9 bullshit. Last night we went to an Italian restaurant we were really looking forward to. We walked with our dog and our kid. We walked down there, closed for a private party. Some 7-9 bullshit. So Jeff Fisher has coached 20 years in the NFL, 20 full seasons, right? He skipped 2011. He has won 7 or 8 games, 10 of those 20 years. Wow. Half the time, that team. His last, in St. Louis Ram record, 7-8-1, 7-9, 6-10, 7-9. So they don't need any more of that 7-9.
No more of it. No more. But it doesn't matter. 16-0. Put your money on that.
At least
I actually like the Niners this weekend. I don't think the Rams, with those records, have any reason to be a favorite on the road in San Francisco. But I hear you, they're going to go 16.
They're far. I think with the new stadium, they are far. They are very far from San Francisco. Like 45 minutes outside the city. It's essentially, what is it, Santa Clara?
Oh, the new stadium. Yeah. But up on the road
They
up
took
north.
all the history out of Candlestick Park and put it into Levi Stadium. It didn't translate. Before we go, Jer, is it not the greatest thing for you as a Rams fan, because as also a USC Trojan, Pete Carroll will be welcomed back into the stadium next week, week 2, when the Seahawks come and visit?
I predict, if of the crossover Rams fans that were possibly USC folks, because of course there's LA people that
all from
USC
St. Louis.
people. But in general, I think that fan base, like, we're never gonna dislike Pete Carroll anymore. It's like there's nothing to hate about Pete Carroll.
I don't hate. I can't help it. I hate USC.
Seahawks
I like
fans
Pete Carroll.
Because, Pete Carroll's just he's a guy. He comes in and he wins. Even when he went to the
He
pros
wins
for
and
his second stint.
he support the team. Again, the Seahawks are going to do something on Sunday. We don't know exactly what they're going to do during the anthem, but they're going to do it apparently as a team, which is great. It makes you think, oh, those guys are serious. They're going to the Super Bowl this year. Good for them. Good for them for coming together and sort of sorting out whatever divisions might have existed politically on the team. And Carroll's like, he loves it. He told the guys, like, whatever you do, like, he's not, if he'd been coaching Colin Kaepernick, he would have had his arm around him.
Yeah, he's a player's coach. He's always been for the players.
But he knows how to reach people. Anyway, I like him.
JR, how did USC do against Alabama? We're going to wrap up with that one. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, favorite, and subscribe.
Good luck with Tim Tebow on the Mets.
Channel. Hey, we have God on our side, a proven playoff winner. I don't see what's wrong with that.
2 teams did not attend Tim Tebow's workout. 2 teams.
Do you know what they were?
Chicago Cubs and the Oakland Athletics. Like, we don't want any part of this. God bless both of them. And I like Tebow, by the way. I do. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I hope he makes it because he's busting his ass.
Tebow's not a bad guy.
But I just like we're not going to spend resources on this. Is crazy. It's crazy. We're not going.
If the Oakland A's called and said, Ben, we want to send you down to see Tebow, would you say yes?
I would do anything. I would do anything.
The Oakland A's asked you to. All right, comment below. We got to go. Everything else is in the description box below. That all rhymes. We'll see you next week.